So, welcome back into day two. Now, at first, this exercise may sound very easy, maybe a little too simple and straightforward. May think it's just like the foundation exercise you learned. But actually, there's some real differences here. And as we continue to build and develop the technique, I think that will start to become more obvious. The really interesting thing about this, what's usually referred to as a noting or labeling technique, is that when they've applied sort of scientific research to this technique, they found that you can experience almost a 50% reduction in the intensity of emotion, not just anxiety, but any emotion. So a really useful thing to be able to apply, not only sort of in this exercise itself, but also in everyday life when anxiety arises in the mind. Essentially, what we're doing here is creating a little bit of extra space in the mind. Usually we're so caught up with the emotion itself, we're almost worried about worrying that we don't really have any sense of perspective on it. By actually identifying it and naming it, we create a little bit of space in which we can observe it in a different way. For now, though, just take a moment to get comfortable. And when you're ready, just starting in the usual way, with some nice big deep breaths. And with the next out breath, just gently closing the eyes as you just start to settle in to the space around you. And just starting to scan down through the body now. As always, not thinking about it, but just being aware of the different physical sensations. And perhaps aware of that underlying mood. So as you bring the attention now to the breath, that rising and falling sensation, just briefly reminding yourself why you're doing what you're doing. Just one sentence in the mind. And when you've done that, just resting the mind on the breath. Just getting comfortable, the rhythm of the breath, not trying to change it in any way at all. And remember, if you find it reassuring, you can just gently place your hand either on your stomach or just around the diaphragm. Just continuing now to follow that rising and falling sensation. And as you do so, if you prefer to count, you can. Remember, just 1 with the rise, 2 with the fall. When you get to 10, you stop and start again at 1. Or you can let go of the counting and just be present with the breath. But as you follow the breath, at some point you will undoubtedly be distracted. In that moment, being clear, is it thinking that's been the distraction or feeling? It's not I'm thinking, it's simply thinking, feeling, and then coming back to the breath again, really gentle with the noting. Just continuing in that way now. And remember just very lightly noting whether it's thinking that's distracted the mind or feeling that's distracted the mind. And then just leaving it, come back to the breath. And with the next out breath, just let the mind wander off do whatever it wants to do. And now just bringing the attention back into the body, back into the physical senses. Just starting to become a bit more familiar with the space around you as you just gently open the eyes again. Just pausing before you get up. Clear how you feel. Clear about your intention to be aware throughout the day today. And don't worry, easy to say, right? Don't worry if you find yourself being overly anxious or worried about the exercise itself. If you have a tendency to worry in everyday life, then you will almost certainly apply it to this exercise as well. You might be worried whether you're doing the exercise correctly. You might be worried whether the exercise is the right one, whether you've chosen the right one. You might be worried whether the exercise is going to work for you or whether it's moving fast enough. If you have a tendency to worry, then it will simply be reflected in the exercise. The exercise doesn't make you worry more, it simply highlights or reflects the worry that's already there. So there's no need to be overly concerned if you experience that in the mind. But just try throughout the day today just to continually note. You have to try and catch every thought, but when you realize you've been distracted, simply thinking or feeling, and then come back to whatever you're doing at the time. And I'll see you back here tomorrow, day 3.